And I'm going to use my Bowdabra to make my bow. Let me move some of the fruit out of the way. And again, I'm going to use the floral wire. And I'm going to cut a piece of wire about 24 inches. I'm not measuring that, but it's about that long. And then I'm just going to double it over. So I've got a loop on one side and the two ends on the other. And I'm putting it through my Bowdabra. So this is the Bowdabra. It's going to go through, and then I'm just going to tuck it under each side, just like that. And I want my tails on this to be around 12 inches or so. So there again, I'm going to cut it about 24 inches. And then I want to dovetail my ends, so I just put them together and fold them in half, and I go to this corner and just cut up. Just like that. So there's my red tail, and now I'm going to make sure that my gold tail is the same length. And if you're measuring, then you know, you won't have to do this, but since I'm not actually measuring, I'm just gonna make sure like this. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm putting my ends together. I'm cutting off the folded piece. Okay, and then just putting my ends together and folding them, and then cutting up at an angle. And I want my gold piece to go in first, because I want my red one on top of it, just like that. Okay, and now I'm going to start with my gold, and I just drop my roll on the floor so that it's out of my way. And I'm making my loop. I first put in one little piece about 1 inch, and I'm putting that through my Bowdabra, and then I'm going to make my loop. And this one's going to be about 6 inches. And now, since I'm not measuring, when I get my 2 loops made, I just bring them up to the top to make sure that they're the same size. And I'm just going to be alternating ribbons. So I'm putting my red one on the floor, and I'm putting about 1 inch in the Bowdabra, and I'm doing the same thing with this one. And now when I put it in and I start on my second loop, I do twist, because you want the bad side of the ribbon facing up. Okay. And so when I start my next on my gold, I twist it so that the bad side is facing up, and then I make my loop, twist, and make my second gold loop. And every time in between, I'm mashing down. We want those to be mashed down really, really well. And now I'm going with my red ribbon, so I twist it, make my loop, twist again, and make my loop, and mash down. And I'm going to do 3 on each side in each color. So this will actually be a 12 loop bow. And since that's my last loops of the gold one, I'm going to go ahead and cut my gold ribbon off. And I leave just about an inch when I cut it. And I mash down. And now I'm going to make my last loops of my red by twisting the ribbon. And then making my loop, twisting again. I mash it down, and now I'm going to cut this off. And then I mash them down really well. Now, I take both sides of my wire, and I put my thumb in the middle here to hold it so that it doesn't come out, but I very gently slide it up, and I put the side that's the 2 through the loop, and then just pull it really, really tight. Okay, and now we want to make sure this is mashed really well. Some of this is really thick ribbon, so you can actually put it on the table and use your thumb to mash it, and just make sure that you keep moving your wire to make sure it's really tight. Then we're going to separate our wire and come all the way around to the back of the bow. Turn it over, and then we're just going to twist the bow just like this. And then this is what you've got. So now we want to fluff out our bow. And as you're fluffing, just pull the loops around and kind of alternate colors. You've done that when you were actually making the bow, so it makes it a lot easier. Some people do use all one color first, and you can do that, but to me it's easier to fluff it if we do it like this. Okay, so now you are ready to attach it to whatever you want to, and in this case we're attaching it to our wreath. And I'm just twisting my wire around the back to get it attached. There we go. Okay. So there we go. We have it on with the sign.